Throughout its history, Nintendo has produced several wonderful games featuring their beloved plumber mascot, and I'm now going to be celebrating several as I count down my personal favorite Super Mario games. I should mention right off the bat that I have not played every Nintendo console, so if there is an omission, that's likely why. Sorry Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Maker. With that out of the way, here's my list. Mario Kart Wii. One of the most popular Mario spin-off franchises is Mario Kart, and for good reason. There's an enjoyment in racing through the various tracks and battling the other racers with items. For the Wii version, the designers created all sorts of fun tracks so you travel in top speed through them and try and make it to the finish line. The adrenaline rush is there, and there was a decent variety with the new tracks and some of the classics. Adding to the fun of the game was the Wii wheel that was packaged with it and helped make Mario Kart Wii that much more immersive. Even with the frustrations of flying off the track or getting hit with that dastardly blue turtle shell, this represented another delightful and exciting addition to this iconic car racing series. Dr. Mario, specifically the version for the Game Boy. I have a huge fondness for Tetris and games of that sort, so it's no surprise I would find Dr. Mario immensely appealing. The premise of Mario using pills to stop small parasites is an inventive variation on the Tetris formula and required a lot of strategy and thinking ahead to master. You have to think on your feet, and there is a challenging aspect, making sure the right capsule lands on the right creature in the correct position. The music also played a key role in the enjoyment, with incredibly catchy music fitting perfectly with the task at hand. Dr. Mario is absolutely an example of how video games can be a great tool for fueling one's brain and strengthening your quick thinking skills. It was certainly one of the cartridges I would frequently turn to whenever I turned on the Game Boy. Mario Kart 64. Yes, another entry in the Mario Kart series, and I feel this one has certainly earned its place as a classic. Whether playing by yourself or with someone else, there's an enjoyment in making your way through the different courses and Grand Prix. There are so many great details that add to the charm of the game, whether it's the secret area to Peach's Castle in Royal Raceway, or the crabs crawling along the dunes in Koopa Troopa Beach. You also have Yoshi Valley, where the positions are secret until you cross the finish line, and the hilly terrain of Wario Stadium, which is my personal favorite Mario Kart 64 track. Although part of that might also have to do with getting to use the lightning bolt on the other players during the big jump. Even with the invisible elastic band given to the computer-controlled players during the race, that does add further excitement. As for who I will always pick to play Mario Kart, it's Luigi. It's always Luigi. Mario Kart 64 will always have a special place in my heart no matter how many times I race through the tracks or fall off the bridge in Banshee Boardwalk. Super Mario Bros. 2, the reskinned version of Doki Doki Panic, not the ridiculously difficult Super Mario Bros. 2 released in Japan. Despite being an unrelated game with Mario characters inserted into it, there's nonetheless the charm and great playability associated with the franchise. The worlds are imaginative, as are the various creatures that confront us, including the egg-shooting Birdo and the Shy Guys. The fact they would later become mainstays of the Mario games is quite remarkable. There's an alternate universe where Nintendo reskinned some other game, and those enemies faded into obscurity. The strategizing involved in figuring out the best uses of the items you picked and figuring out which parts of the map lead to secret mushrooms provide an additional challenge, and Super Mario Bros. 2 certainly makes you think as you go through the different locations. One of the best aspects of the game is getting to choose between Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, who all have distinct abilities. In some levels, playing as Mario does just fine, while others will require Peach or Luigi. In many ways, Nintendo of America finding the original Super Mario Bros. 2 difficult and requesting something different probably helped the series maintain its relevance outside of Japan. While that Mario Bros. 2 is absurdly frustrating in its level design, this Mario Bros. 2 is a lot of fun. Super Mario Bros. 3. This is yet another example of how the Mario series would attempt new things with each game. In this case, we find a clever use of the world maps as he travels from one land to the next. I like how each section is tied to a specific theme, and there's a storybook appeal to the whole look of the game. There's an excitement as it goes through tanks and airships or battles with enemies like Hammer Bros and the Koopalings. Then there are the multiple items you pick up along the way and the freedom to use them whenever you need to pass a specific level. There's a wonderful variety to the levels, and it can be a lot of fun to traverse through areas like castles and deserts. The enemies are a solid mix of familiar ones and new ones, and there are even fun mini-games like a guessing card game and other activities with Toad. Through it all, you are serenaded by Koji Kondo's new musical pieces, which have deservedly become iconic outside the game. Also, let's be honest, how many of us have used the Tanuki suit to bypass some truly difficult parts? I know I have. Super Mario Bros. 3 ultimately winds up an immensely charming chapter in Mario's adventures. Super Mario Land. This game, created for the Game Boy, was probably the first Mario game I ever played, so I do hold an incredible amount of affection for it. Even though Shigeru Miyamoto had no real involvement with Super Mario Land, the developers understood his philosophy to create an entertaining game while also putting their own stamp on it. The aliens provide a new aspect to the Mario franchise, and the various levels are all inventive and clever. There's a decent variety, while traditional elements like the fireballs are switched out for a new spin on the concept. The music by Hirokazu Tanaka has a wonderful bounce to it, so even when enemies are charging at you, there's a lightness to the adventure Mario's on. Even when you lose all your lives and it's game over, I hardly complain about having to start back at the beginning and getting to see these wonderful sights again. Super Mario Land is also notable in Mario history, not only for its important role in the popularity of the Game Boy, but also for being the debut of Princess Daisy. It's an example of how, even when ported to a much smaller screen, and with most of the colors taken out, a Mario game can remain entertaining. Super Mario Galaxy. Using the capabilities of the Nintendo Wii, making an outer space adventure where Mario jumps from one planet to the next was so inspired. It certainly resulted in one of the most beautiful games in the series as he travels through the levels and encounters all sorts of creatures. Using the Wii remote to grab star bits to help you beat the levels was a wonderful idea and added an additional element of fun. The immersive quality of the Wii aided in the feeling of flying through the sky with Mario, and there was a certain cinematic feel to the entire game. One of my favorite aspects of Super Mario Galaxy is the music, posed by Koji Kondo and Mahito Yokota. It had an appropriately soaring sound to it and was perfectly fitting for the way Mario flies through the sky and lands on all these strange and unusual planets. As the game that would help show what Mario could do on the Wii, Super Mario Galaxy absolutely did its job. Super Mario Bros. Yes, the classic game from 1985. While not the first game to feature Mario and his brother Luigi, it was pivotal to the success of the character on the Nintendo Entertainment System and could partly be credited with saving the video game industry in North America after the infamous crash of 1983. Part of the charm of this game was the simplicity of it. The first level immediately gives you an understanding of the mechanics of the Mushroom Kingdom, what can make you lose a life, and what can help you as you go to save the princess. From there we get all sorts of fantastic obstacles, from swimming levels to a lava-filled castle, which would become popular mainstays of the series. Koji Kondo's music was pivotal to the game's brilliance, with the main overworld theme certainly cementing itself as an iconic piece of music that would always be remembered. What Shigeru Miyamoto and the other developers at Nintendo accomplished here was an amazing feat, making the players believe in this world full of magical mushrooms and turtles. Super Mario 64. Taking Mario to 3 dimensions was certainly no easy task, but Miyamoto and Nintendo succeeded brilliantly. One of the best things about this game was the sense of exploration. Even before you enter a level and start pouncing on Goombas, you just want to walk around the field outside of Princess Peach's castle and take in her lobby. And then when you do start playing the levels, you're given all sorts of wonderful puzzles to solve. With just a simple level name as your clue, you're then free to go off and figure out how to attain that specific star. The variety of enemies and things you have to do to defeat them is essential to the playability of Super Mario 64. There are several clever secrets hidden throughout, and even the lead up to Bowser in each stage of the game is exciting. Super Mario 64 makes trying to locate 100 coins in the level a thrilling task, along with finding the multiple surprises around every corner. Koji Kondo's different musical themes, depending on the level, are also pivotal to the game's enjoyment. Some may see the graphics as dated now, but I think they're a reminder of what an amazing leap this was for Mario. And my number one favorite Super Mario game is Super Mario World. When I think of Super Mario Bros., this is honestly the first game that comes to mind. All the ingredients that make this franchise so special appear in Super Mario World. The concept of setting it on this dinosaur-filled island was a fantastic one, and the introduction of Yoshi was a particular stroke of genius. He serves as a delightful companion for Mario and a key asset in getting through several of the levels. The designs are full of imagination with so many brilliant obstacles, but it's also great just taking in the sights. Miyamoto and the developers took full advantage of the Super Nintendo in giving us this colorful world full of both new and recurring enemies. And like Super Mario 64, there's the puzzle element of figuring out the best way to get through the level and which power-ups are the most helpful to use. Adding to the charm of Super Mario World are the lovely themes created by Koji Kondo. As you travel through the map, it feels like you're taking this journey with Mario as you discover the many secret pathways. There's even a bonus area that truly tests your skills with some rather hard levels, but it's all the more rewarding when you complete them. For me, Super Mario World truly stands at the high watermark of this legendary series. However, I'm curious what your favorite Super Mario games are. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.